Let's talk about a discovery that absolutely shatters our old image of ancient humanity. Seriously, this is one of those stories about a blueprint carved in stone that forces us to rewrite a huge chapter of our history. You're going to want to hear this.
So just think about this for a second. What if our Stone Age ancestors weren't just simple nomads, but were actually high-level planners and engineers, thousands of years before the pyramids were even a dream? Sounds kind of crazy, right? Well, the evidence is pretty undeniable.
Okay, so our story kicks off, like so many great ones do, with a massive mystery hidden deep in the desert, right out in the open. I want you to picture this. You're flying low over these vast, empty sands. And when you look down, you see these enormous shapes etched into the earth. They stretch for miles. They're clearly not natural. They're geometric, they're deliberate, and for the longest time, nobody really knew what they were for. This right here shows the huge mental shift we've got to make. You know, the old view was that Neolithic people were just focused on day-to-day survival. But this new evidence, it shows they were sophisticated planners, architects even, taking on these massive projects. They weren't just surviving, they were building.
So what in the world were these giant stone kites? Let's get into what these incredible megastructures were actually designed to do.
They're called desert kites. And no, they weren't for flying. They were basically some of the most clever, large-scale hunting traps ever built. They're these low stone walls, sometimes going on for miles, all designed to funnel huge herds of animals right into a trap.
The scale of this is it's mind-boggling. I mean, think about it. Pulling this off would take incredible coordination, a really deep understanding of how animals behave, and a whole lot of people. It suggests a level of social organization we just didn't think existed back then. And remember, they did all of this without metal tools, without GPS, without a drone's eye view. These really were the megastructures of their day. But all of this just leads to an even bigger question, which, luckily for us, leads to the most stunning part of this whole discovery. Right? How could you, from ground level, possibly design and build something so enormous and so precise? You can't see the whole thing at once. You couldn't just start piling up rocks and hope it worked out. You would absolutely need a plan. A master plan. And believe it or not, in 2023, archaeologists found that exact thing. It was a discovery that just sent total shockwaves through the community. This is the moment. They found detailed, two-scale architectural plans of the desert kites carved right onto small rocks. This is the oldest known blueprint in human history. We're not talking about a simple map. This is a thought process preserved for 9,000 years, showing that they sat down, drew a plan to scale, and then went out and built it perfectly. Incredible.
So yeah, this isn't just some neat archaeological find. This discovery fundamentally rewrites what we thought our Stone Age ancestors were capable of.
Just let that number sink in for a second. 9,000 years old. We are talking about a massive leap in abstract thinking and large-scale planning that was happening way, way earlier than anyone ever thought possible. And to really put that age into perspective, just look at this timeline. These blueprints are 4,000 years older than Stonehenge. They are literally twice as old as the Great Pyramid of Giza. This isn't just ancient history. This is deep history.
One of the researchers had the perfect analogy for this. He said, it's like finding a 10,000-year-old iPad. It's a piece of technology of conceptual thinking that just feels thousands of years ahead of its time. It basically forces us to admit that our old ideas about what these people could do were just plain wrong.
And here's the kicker. This discovery isn't just some isolated fluke. Oh no. It's part of a much, much bigger story of a lost world of engineering that's been hiding just under the sand.
So this wasn't just a one-off project. To date, researchers have found over 6,000 of these desert kites, stretching from the Middle East all the way into Central Asia. This was a widespread, sophisticated way of life.
And we're finding more of them all the time. Using modern tech like satellite imagery and LiDAR, which is this cool laser scanning tech, we're basically peeling back the layers of time and seeing this ancient engineered landscape for the very first time.
And get this, it's not just the kites. In the exact same areas, they're finding other huge structures, like these mustaddles. They're these massive rectangular monuments, maybe for some kind of rituals. Finding them together shows this was a society that could organize multiple complex building projects at the same time. For survival, sure, but also for their community and spiritual life.
So, we kind of end up back where we started, with a big question. This whole discovery proves that the desert is basically a giant time capsule. It really makes you wonder, if people were drawing up blueprints from megastructures 9,000 years ago, what else were they doing? What other incredible secrets about our own past are still buried out there, just waiting for us to find them?